Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for the pre-fill process. Today we're looking at pre-fill in the process of taping. And what I'm using here is Drywall 90. Drywall 90, Drywall itself specifically, I only know it as a 90, is the best thing you want to use for pre-fill. Because just consider this, in the process of any building, your foundation needs to be the strongest, right? So just think of it that way when you think of pre-fill and you think of Drywall, is that in the process of building, your foundation needs to be the strongest. And the main purpose of pre-filling realistically is that, houses, mainly houses, or even just drywalls in general, they're put together in pieces and sometimes they can shift. If there's nothing below to hold it together to be a bit of a security, you're going to have cracks in your tape at some point. So it's not a good idea to overlook pre-fill. It's also not a good idea to use soft mud, such as regular soft mud, in your pre-fill. And I think it's very important to have a concept of this in your mind, that the pre-fill needs to be strong, it needs to be solid, and that's why I do also recommend that the pre-fill be dry before you apply the next layer, which is tape. Some people won't use Drywall, and I can understand why. They don't have Drywall. It's not something to use all the time. Well, if you're not going to use Drywall, make sure that your mud is almost out the box thick. Your mud must be thick. It cannot be soft. Again, the foundation needs to be strong. Now, there's not much more to say about pre-fill. You don't want to over pre-fill. You're not trying to build up. You're just trying to fill the gaps. Pre-fill is only used for where there's a cut in the drywall, where there's a separation. There's some cases where the drywall could have a deep gouge. That is the area that you could use pre-fill. But realistically, pre-fill is just for where the drywall has been separated, or even better yet, it's where the drywalls join, because those are the places that in time when the wood starts to warp and stuff like that, that's where it's going to crack. And you're trying to avoid cracks by putting pre-fill on your wall. That is really what you're aiming for. It's just to avoid cracks. Usually what happens when you don't pre-fill and the issue comes up is that you'll find a hairline crack in your wall, like a small little crack, and sometimes people complain about it. You have to cut a V and go back over the process and pre-fill and tape. Hence why you should not skip the pre-fill process. It's almost like you didn't do the job at all if you didn't pre-fill, because now in the future when it cracks, you're gonna have to cut through all your work and go back down to the foundation. Some areas like what you're looking at right now, such as a loose area in the corner, dig it out, because again, it needs to be solid. The foundation needs to be solid. Any movement will show later. So anything you're putting your work on needs to be solid. I personally tend to do the bottom of the room first. As you can see, this is what we're looking at, and then we move from the bottom to the top. It's just a much more orderly way to get the job done, let's say, because some people may want to do the top first and then go to the bottom. No complaints. But more than anything else, what you must remember is that pre-fill is absolutely necessary. Pre-fill needs to be thick. And for any loose areas, such as this one that you're seeing here, any loose area, dig it out and get that pre-fill in there. The foundation needs to be solid. There should be a few takeaway when doing pre-fill. Takeaway number 1, use Drywall 90. Takeaway number 2, any big loose area, rip it off the paper and start over. And takeaway number 3, if you don't have Drywall 90, try to use your mud in its thickest form. Any quickset will also work, but if you're desperate and you only have mud, try to make it thick as possible. And you can always mix your mud with a bit of a quickset, such as quickset 45, quickset 20, but the idea is that it needs to be thick and solid. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video interesting or helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.